Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsy's Guitar World 2. Now today's guitar lesson features a little bit of trickery, or I think it does. As ever, this is just my interpretation of the song. So the trickery is courtesy of a Mr. Johnny Rico from the band Warrior Soul. This song is called Cargoes of Doom. It's from their Chill Pill album released in 1993. I saw them in Edinburgh in 1993. It was like a transcendental experience. They came on, there was loads of smoke on the stage, just a very small venue called The Venue, and just some white lights behind them, just sort of pumping, and just the guitarist at the front of the stage just banging out a riff. It was like, man, if I had been on mushrooms, it could have been the best night of my life. Still one of the top 10 nights of my life. Anyway, so the trick in this song, I think, is Mr. Rico seems to have tuned his bottom string here, up to an F sharp, whereas the rest of the guitar is still in your normal tuning. Now, not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people do that, and it's great because of what happens around what he's playing on the guitar and what I think is being played on the bass. So what I'll do is I will just play the riff quickly, and then I'll fast forward in time to play bass over the top of it, or what I think is a bass line, and you can hear how these two things interact. Brilliant. That's what songwriting is all about. It's about adding different ideas. You know, everything doesn't have to be complicated. You know, you can have a simple guitar riff, but a bass line that's moving round about that. Anyway, let's get on with this lesson before people click off. So the first thing we do, 3 hits on the bottom string, which is now an F sharp. 1, 2, 3, and then come up to the 9th fret of the A string, which is an octave F sharp note. Da, da, da. Now you can get above pinch harmonic on that, you're doing well. Like that. So that's really the riff throughout most of this song. So it's really one note. It's just an F sharp away down here on the open string and an F sharp up here. But because of what that bass is doing in the background, it's adding movement to the whole thing, and the drums are kind of offbeat as well. It's just, you know, that's a mark of great songwriting right there. So that's the main riff throughout the majority of the song. And it goes down to the 2nd fret of the A, toggles between that and the 3rd fret. It's very Sabbathy. So it's 3, 2, open, and then back to the... Well, I think maybe one of the guitars stays down here and we'd be playing an F sharp chord, but because the E string is tuned up a tone, we can actually just play the open string and then play the 4th fret of the A string, the C sharp, just to give you that F sharp chord. I mean, that's great as well because it's like an open chord. So that bridge bit. Back to that monster riff. So that's the main riff in the song. Now there is a bit of lead guitar that just goes over the top of that. It sounds to me like he's playing the 14th fret of the G string, that A, and bending it up a full tone to the B, but it goes like bending, bending, bending like this. Sorry if that wasn't quite in pitch, But that's what it sounds like to me. That's like the lead guitar that's going over some of the verse and bridge parts. So it's just that 14th fret of the G, the A note, bend up to a B, and then bend up, down, up, down. Now the only other part of the tune, there's a bit later on, there's just a series of single notes. Again, very Sabbathy. It sounds to me like it goes like this. So it's open, 2, 3, the bottom string. And then 2, 3, 4 of the A string. Very Sabbathy, but what a main riff. And it's a great trick, actually tuning a string up. Most people, me included, would tune a string down to sort of enhance sonically what you're doing. But in this one, he must have been in the studio and playing, you know, I guess, like a normal F sharp, and then over to that F sharp, but then realised it sounds really good just with that string tuned up. Now, like I say, I think that's how it goes. If Mr. Johnny Rico says this, please do accept my apologies if that's not what's going on, but that's how I would play it. So there you go, folks. That probably took longer than it should because I was away in my own wee world, as we say here in Scotland. I was away in my own wee world just talking about stuff. So there you go, folks. That was a very basic guitar lesson for how I think the guitar is played on Cargoes of Doom from the album Chill Pill, released in 1993 by Warrior Soul. Now, as I said, please do go back and check out Warrior Soul. What a band. As ever, it's a privilege and a pleasure bringing you content on Dunsy's Guitar World 2. Cheers for now.